Hey, what's going on everybody? Jose Hernandez here with Mastering Conversational Chemistry, and today I'm going to bring you 5 tips on how to have a better conversation and to overall seem like a better conversationalist. So tip number 1, right? Ready for this? Listen. Now I know it seems like a no-brainer, but a lot of people forget this tip, and it's probably the most important one. We like to talk. We like to be heard. We like to be the center of attention a lot of times when it comes to conversations. Maybe it's the sound of our voice. Maybe we just want to feel like we're in control. But the truth is that a conversation has 2 equal parts, the part that's speaking and the part that's listening. And we tend to not give the listening part as much attention as we should. So if you're communicating with somebody and you really want to make them feel important, make sure that you are doing more listening than you are speaking, especially if it's about a topic that you don't know a lot about, which leads me into the tip number 2. Ask open-ended questions. When you ask open-ended questions, it allows the person that's speaking the privilege of knowing you are paying attention to them and you want to learn more. It also allows the conversation to extend and to continue going, which is the ultimate goal. When we're networking with somebody, we want to engage that conversation for as long as possible. So asking open-ended questions keeps it going. Tip number 3, be in the moment. Put your cell phone away. If you have it in your hand, it's disrespectful. It's too easy to hear a ding and want to check it or push on the Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat or whatever social media thing you're into and get distracted and pulled away from the conversation at hand. It's disrespectful to the person speaking, and you're disrespecting yourself because you're not allowing yourself to be in the moment. So put your cell phone away. If you're at a party, the only thing that should be in your hand is a drink, if it's a drinking event, or if it's a networking event, business cards. You shouldn't have anything else in your hand because it shows that you're in the moment. So if you're there, be there. Tip number 4, put your 2 cents in. I know we just discussed on tip number 2 about asking open-ended questions, but if you're constantly just asking questions, it becomes an interrogation real fast. So you have to put in your 2 cents based on what they're saying and what you're learning at the time, especially if there's something you're just learning about. When you put in your 2 cents and you're kind of exchanging the dialogue back and forth on a topic, the person that you're communicating with is really engaged with you at this point, because now they're saying, wow, this person's really listening to me, and they're actually kind of coming up with their own ideas based on what we're talking about. It gives a sense of importance to the person that's communicating with in a way, because it really shows that you're acknowledging what they've been saying to you based on the questions you've asked, and now you're putting in your 2 cents based on what you're learning at the current moment. And tip number 5, which is probably the most important, is when you end the conversation, acknowledge the enjoyment of it. Shake the hands and say, hey John, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I really learned a lot about quantum physics. Thanks for taking out the time to speak with me for a little bit about it. I really learned a lot. Now, quantum physics sounds a little crazy, and I don't know how many people are really discussing that, but the idea of it is acknowledge how much you enjoyed the conversation, because you're basically telling the other person, hey, I appreciate your time and you taking your time and your knowledge to communicate with me and let me know about it, because I didn't know a lot. And it's just gonna, again, make that person feel super important. And the more you can make somebody feel appreciated and important, the better conversationalist you are gonna seem like you are, because you're giving the importance to the other person, which is what you wanna do. You don't always have to be the center of attention, but if you can make somebody else feel that special, you just became a better conversationalist. All right, guys, so those are your 5 tips for today. Make sure you're listening. Make sure you're asking open-ended questions about the topic. Be in the moment. Put your cell phone away and be engaged in the moment. Forget about everything else in your schedule after the event or tomorrow, because that's not important. Right now, you're just having this conversation. Tip number 4 is add your 2 cents. Put in the dialogue your part and communicate what you're learning and what you're thinking. People want to know this too. And 5, acknowledge that you enjoyed the conversation. And that's gonna make you overall be a better conversationalist and have better outcomes in your conversations when they're, when the time arises. All right, guys, so that's your tip for today. Do me a favor, comment on the video, like it, share it, tell me what you think, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.